Let's take another breath. Our theme this month is purpose. And my topic today is filled with meaning and purpose. Filled with meaning and purpose. But before I speak specifically about purpose, I want to talk a little bit about spiritual qualities, the spiritual journey itself. I find that the challenge for most of us in our spirituality is about unlearning. It isn't even about finding out more of what we don't know. It's unlearning the stuff that has hindered and has gotten in our way. We have to free our minds and our thinking from the ways in which we have pigeonholed ourselves and blocked our capacity to be able to see and to understand. It's not a personal flaw. It's the way that the human mind works. We develop neural pathways that keep repeating the same viewpoint, the same ideas. It's like putting a little groove. You know, we don't use LPs a lot anymore, but those of you who are my age, you know, you actually had a needle that went around the groove. And you didn't get any sound until the needle went around. Well, it's like that. It's like there's a little needle in our head that's just going around these little grooves and keeps playing the same song because that's the groove that's been imprinted on that disc. Okay, it's like that's what's happening in our heads. And if we want a different experience of life, we got to create another song. We got to put some new grooves in there, so to speak. Literally. So we keep thinking about how do I get rid of stuff, and it isn't so much about the getting rid of it as it is replacing it with something else. Okay? So this unlearning isn't like I'm trying to get something out of your head. The way that the unlearning happens is remembrance of the truth. Remembrance of the truth. See, anything that you need to know, you actually already know. You actually already know. Think about those moments of the epiphany, that great awakening, when you have that, oh, in that moment, don't you have that feeling like it was around me all the time? That somehow was just missing it. There's a clarity that happens in that moment that unleashes you from the prior perspectives that were keeping you blind. The way that our thought works is that we can only see what we were anticipating. If you weren't expecting it, our human mind won't even register it. It'll be like background noise. If you're in a room and there are people who are speaking a language you don't understand, you tune it out. It's like it could have been the hum of a machine because it means nothing to you. Because you don't have a groove that resonates with that. You don't have a groove in your mind that is able to interpret what it is that they're saying, and we have this tendency to just tune out anything that's not resonating with the groove that's already going on in my head. This is a problem. Because the past then becomes the precedent for our future. The past is the precedent. We're always repeating that. It isn't that history repeats itself. We keep doing the same patterns, which recreates history. History can't repeat itself on its own. That worn out t-shirt doesn't just jump on your back. Your internet doesn't surf itself. If it's happening again, it's because you're doing it. I can't explain that enough. Our thoughts are not following us around. We're rethinking it. So every day, at every moment, you have a chance to set something new in motion. With this unlearning, every day of every moment, we have the opportunity to go back to the beginning. At every moment of every day, we have a choice. Am I going to stay on this trajectory, or am I going to go to a place of inner wholeness? Every moment of every day. See, this is why healing is possible. It doesn't matter how much cancer you've had. It doesn't matter how many other things that you've had. There is a divine design within you. And the divine design never gets interrupted. The way it expresses can go wacky, but the divine design itself stays the same. So we have this opportunity. Which do I want to align with? Which do I want to consider myself more in identification with? The divine design that's behind it all, or the outer expression of the way it's been coming forth? What is it that you are connecting with? If you're a musician, what are you identifying with? Are you tapping into the muses, the gods? Music, the muses, the gods, the celestial sound from the other side that's always there. And when you tap into that and open up to that, something can come through you. Or are you only identifying with your music, your songs, the things you have created? I'm telling you now, if it's the latter, you're going to dry out. If you're a writer, a poet, you are going to dry out. If you are depending upon you, if what you are identifying with is just what you've done, it could be love, it could be anything. When you're loving, are you tapping into the vibration of love itself and opening up? Or are you just looking at you and your relationships and how you show up? Are you already predicting how you're going to be? Are you already predicting who you're going to be? How far you can go? How much you can have? How deeply committed can you be? The depth of your forgiveness. How open you're going to be? How long are you going to stay? How much are you going to put up with? I'm just saying. And you know what? That's what you get to have. That's what you get to have. But if you open up to the mystery, if you say, you know what? This is what I've done so far. This is as much as I've been able to give so far. This is all that I have known so far in my life expression. But it's a big God universe out there. And there's so much more I don't even know. See, the masters of anything are humble. They're not puffed up with all that they know. They are humbled by all that they don't know. See, a good astronomer is humbled. They aren't even puffed up. A really good physician is humbled. You don't even know how much you don't know till you know a little bit. And the more you know in this realm, the more you realize how much you don't know. I don't care whether it's mathematics, music, love, forgiveness. Listen to what I'm saying. The more you get into it, the more of it you realize that there is. The more caring you do, the more forgiveness you do, the more sustainability you do, the more justice that you do. You're not doing it to be over. You're not doing it to master it. You're not doing it to check it off your to-do list. Forgave. Boom. Loved. Boom. Healed. Boom. Now what can I get on with? It's the journey of it. It's the being in it. Our way of Western thinking has us doing this. One, we think linear, and nothing's linear. Everything orbits and circulates, from the planets to the cells in your body. Everything's doing like this. The seasons, they're going around again and again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, January, February, March, April. It's over and over and over. Do you get what I mean? Over and over and over. So if you really want to enjoy life, don't try to hedge against life. If you really want to enjoy life, have the intent to become one with life. To go with its flows. To go with that dance of life. The cycles and the seasons. Because if it's winter, it's winter. Now, you can be pissed that it's winter. And you can be frustrated that it's winter. But when it's winter, it's winter. It doesn't mean you die in winter. It means you just may have to show up in winter a little differently than you do in summer. But that's all right. Because summer's not better than winter and winter's not better than summer. They're just different places and stages and ways of experiencing. 5 years old's not better than 15. 15's not better than 55. They're just different places and stages. So if you're 55 and you're still stuck on 15, you got a problem. And if you're 15 trying to be 55, you still got a problem. Because you're not letting yourself be where you are. Every place, every stage has its gifts. Everything has its gifts. If you are with somebody who's quote unquote dying or transitioning, that can be the most profoundly intimate and sacred experiences that you could ever share. And don't rob people of that because it's uncomfortable for you. When they're trying to talk to you, oh, don't say that, don't talk about that, no. Then we leave people alone. Because we're not having the capacity to just be with them in this stage. But the being fully in it isn't for you to just stay stuck in it. It's for you to fully enjoy it, embody it, learn from it, so you can move on. That's what I'm saying. We've got it backwards. Most of us are afraid that if I really allow myself to fully get in it, right where I am, I'm gonna get stuck in it. So I'm kind of doing this, like, whoo, I don't want to like plant too much in it because I don't want it to like suck me down. But it's the other way around. It's the other way around. It's the other way around. You can only move from where you are. You can only move from where you are. So if you're not willing to stand where you are, you can't move from there. If you're not willing to stand where you are, you can't move from there. It's the dancing around that makes you stuck. Not the standing there. I don't care where it is, what it is. If you've got a place of lack of forgiveness in your heart, until you really accept that that's where you are, you cannot move from there. As long as you're in denial about how you feel and covering it up and sugarcoating it and all the rest of that, you're just going to be de-loop-de-loop. Same old thing, over and over and over again. When you come to that hitting the bottom, people say they haven't bottomed yet. The purpose of hitting the bottom isn't to stay there. That's not the point of hitting the bottom. Is it until you hit the bottom, you're doing this. You're doing that dance thing. But until you can just stand there and say, I'm an alcoholic. I got a drinking problem. Now you can start to move. But you got to stand in it and own it, or you can't move from it. Reverend Michael's Bernard Beckwith is going to be here with us next month. And, I love this. When he talks about the guy that called him up. He said, Reverend Michael, I'm going through hell. And he said, just keep on going, brother. Just go right on through. Don't set up camp now. We're setting up camp when we should be going through. go through it. Go through it. In our Western society, we're very goal-oriented. So we externalize things. We objectify things. We're chasing after things. Life becomes a destination. Becomes this destination. There's this poster out, things that make you go, It says, "He who dies with the most toys wins." Wins what? You're dead. And everybody else is playing with your toys. What? It's not the destination. And I am here telling, as one who was a destination addict, I raced through my life. For some reason, I thought I was going to die at age 16. And now I understand it from the spiritual standpoint of what that is, because I did. But I just knew I was going to die at 16. And I raced. I raced. By the time I was 17, turned 17, I was already halfway through my freshman year at USC making straight A's. I was already parenting at 21. I'm in my 60s now. And I'm just learning about bubbles. I mean, like in a really big way. It's not that I never had fun, but I'm just learning how to play. I was always so serious and up against so many issues. And there was a lot of issues to be up. Particularly young and black and female and gay in the Pentecostal church in the 60s and 70s. There was a lot to be up against. I get it. But life was always this, my purpose was like always out here. And what I've had to learn through life is that purpose isn't about where you arrive. It's what you do to get there. Your purpose isn't about ultimately where you arrive. Because everybody's going to wind up at the same place. They're just different routes. But your purpose is how you show up. It's not the end result. And when we get to that idea that there's an end result, we think we can get there by any means necessary. But it's not like that. It's this sort of chicken or the egg. In order to have the fruit, you have to have the seed. But we chase after the fruit, like the fruit's out there, instead of realizing the way I get the fruit is to start with the seed. I have to start with the fruit. Beckwith always says, what you're looking for, you're looking with. So in this objectified thing that we're doing, we believe it's not here. It's out there. And I'm trying to get it out there and bring it in here. But it never turns around till we realize it's the opposite. The essence of it is right here. Music is here. I just have to channel it. Love is all around me. Prosperity, goodness, justice, it's already here. I can't get it out there. I can only express it. I can only let it come through me. But I've got to be open to it coming through me first. First. There has to be the yes in your heart first. You'll experience the loving relationship when you let yourself love. You can't start off with the loving relationship and the loving relationship then open you up to love. You have to open up to love and then you'll have the loving relationship. Justice isn't on the back end. Peace isn't on the back end. What happens when we objectify these things, we think of them as nouns. But they're not nouns. These spiritual qualities are purpose. All of that is a verb. It is activity. It's vibrational fields. It's something that we're being. Even a vibration isn't just a noun. Vibrations vibrate. Vibrations are frequencies, and we'll never have a real sense of purpose or meaning until we can feel ourselves as activity. When you can start to feel yourself as activity, whatever that activity is, whether that activity is caring, whether that activity is exploring, if that activity is taking us to new heights, that activity is planting or like whatever that is, your sense of purpose is about you in the engagement of it. And it's about who you become in the process. It's not about the end. It's about who you be in the journey. I know we've gotten into this idea that I have to find my purpose. Just try more and more to connect with the divine. Because purpose is not a static thing. Purpose is not an objectification. I'm not saying don't be concerned about your purpose, but make purpose a living, breathing vibration that's forever growing and expanding and informing you along the way. As opposed to, it's just this. This may seem like an odd example, but it's coming to me now. There was a book that came out a number of years ago. It was called From Wedded Wife to Lesbian Life. It was a book about women who had been married to men who later were partnered with women. And there was something this one woman said in this book that really struck me. And my comment now is not about sexuality, but about consciousness and how consciousness works. She said, when I was with men, I felt like I was the object of their affection. She says, with a woman, I feel like I'm the subject. She says, with the woman, I feel like I'm the subject, that it's actually about me. That it's not trying to do something for me, impress me, have me, control me, but that the love is me. It's about me. We make purpose, God, life, the object of our life. Make purpose, love, God, the subject of your life. When you let it be the very content itself, then you're not so stuck on a particular way it's got to express. It'll express for whatever it needs to be in that moment. So maybe for one person, you show up as something they can lean on. You show up as a respite. And for the next person, you show up as kicking them in the butt. No, you are not going to lean on me. You need to stand up on your own 2 feet. I believe in you, and I'm going to help you stand on your 2 feet. So you can say, well, is my purpose to let people lean on me, or is my purpose to kick people in the butt? Neither. Your purpose is to be of service. Your purpose is to say yes and be a channel of the divine in whatever the divine wants to do in that moment. And when you do that, you become less anxious. There's less judgment. Every moment becomes filled with goodness and grace. So what do you want? Do you want to be in the awe of discovery? Where every day you're stretched a little bit more. Where every day there's still another false illusion you let go of. Like in the Tao Te Ching, the Taoist Bible, by Lao Tzu, when he says, in the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the practice of the Tao, every day something's dropped. Some false illusion, some false notion, some false whatever. Do you want to live there? Or do you want to live in this kind of maddening thing that we've got going on that's so driven and I got to get there and I'm late and who's ahead of me and how many toys am I going to die with? I'm telling you, because whether it's your life, whether it's your house or the White House, this is the way this stuff works. You don't become a democracy at the end. You have to be it and vibrate with it and resonate with that all the way on the journey, which may have as many unknowns as life itself. But I love what it says in my spirit letters in the sacred yes. You don't have to know where you're going to know that you're headed in the right direction. You don't have to know where you're going. And that's all you got to do. Point yourself towards forgiveness. You don't have to know what that looks like. You don't have to know how to do it. Just say, I'm headed there. Point yourself towards fulfillment. Let me start moving in the direction of the energy of love and compassion. Let me start moving in the energy of truth. Say, well, how do you know what truth is? I don't know. But it'll be discerned to you as you go along if you're willing to open up. Life is filled with meaning and purpose. And I'm going to end on this. I think I shared this a number of months ago. It was a profound discussion I was having with this man who had accomplished a lot in his life. Actually, he was a billionaire. And we were talking at lunch. This wasn't that long ago. And he was really, really angry, frustrated. A good man, great heart, just beautiful philanthropy in the world and whatnot. And his wife had been diagnosed with cancer, very aggressive cancer. And he was angry. He was just so pissed. And he said to me, and I am tired of everybody telling me that everything happens for a reason. He says, it's just not true. He says, some things just happen. And I realized when he said that he felt like people were blaming him or blaming his wife for her having the cancer. And I said to him, it just rolled out. I knew it was a spirit thing. I said, I'm really sorry if people are making you or your wife feel like she's being blamed because she has cancer. I said, perhaps a better way that we spiritual teachers could make it more plain. I said, perhaps a better way than saying everything happens for a reason is to say there's nothing that happens without meaning. And he said, yes, I can live with that. And then he dug out he says, I want to write that down. There's nothing that happens without meaning. That there's meaning in everything. So if you get less fixated on the why did it happen, and just get into, if I stand in it, and just allow myself to be in this whatever. What meaning does it have for me now? And the more you don't want to be in it, is the more you need to stand in it. I got a witness in the balcony. The more you stand in it, so you can move out of it and quit doing this. Let us pray. Let us pray. As we turn within in this moment, we go deep beyond the appearances. Every tradition says, don't get stuck there. Don't judge by the appearances. It's Maya. It's illusion. It's trickster energy. Don't get stuck on what you see. We move into our third eye. That sees through our personality, sees through all things. And we humble ourselves in this moment and say, open our time blinded eyes. Take the shackles off our feet so we can dance. We lay it all on the altar. The armor, the defenses, the fears, the worries, the concerns, the ought tos, the shoulds, the if I coulda, woulda, shouldas. We lay it on the altar. Let not our hearts be burdened. And we also lay on the altar all the hope, the dreams, the desires, the expectations, the vision boards, the agendas, the timetables, all of it. And we allow the alchemy of the divine, just like the gold, all the gold that's ever been is already here. It just keeps melting down, and it's a ring this time, and then it's a necklace, and then it's this, and then it's that. It's just the same gold. Take this of our life. We're not going to hold on to it as a ring. If you wanted a necklace, God, we let it be the necklace. So we let it go the necklace. And now we need to be a bracelet. We're not holding on to any form. Not even our body temples, because there comes that point in time when they are no longer worthy of the majesty of who we are. And we say, Godspeed to all of those who are sloughing off the mortal coil so they can find their wings and be free. Create in us a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within us. We speak the word in this moment. We create those new grooves, a new blueprint of enoughness, of sufficiency, of dignity and health and wholeness and caring, of integrity and dignity for all. For all. That is the divine will. Every baby is born equal. We will not hurt you with words from our mouth. We won't hurt ourselves with words from our own mouth about our own selves. We won't hurt this nation with words about this nation. We hold the highest watch. So we call forth the health, the healing, the wholeness, the vitality, the invigoration, full-on chi. Chi in our body temple, chi in our financial bodies, chi in our body politic. We're standing in the yes. Yes, 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 yes. Every belly full, enough health care, enough clean air and water, and restoration of places devastated, homes for everyone. People are safe. Our children, our elders, our families, everyone cared for. Regardless of race or color or creed or nationality or sexual orientation or religion or any of that other stuff. There's no supremacy of anything. For we are all God's children. Take care of this earth, our mama. We take care of each other. And I say thank you for blessing this spiritual community, for always providing everything that we need, for shoring us up for such a time as this. So this message of wholeness and oneness and possibility can find its wings, where this consciousness can be multiplied over and 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 over again. Thank you for our new home. That is exactly what we need. And for its perfect revelation. It is good, it is done. We get out of the way and we allow that which already is to just be. And so it is.